Hi, I'm Jeanette and welcome to my channel where I share information on solo trips I've taken and solo trips I'm planning to take to help you think about and plan your own solo travel. Now right now where I live in the DC area, it is cold and I am planning a trip to go to some warmer climates, but I'll tell you about it when I get inside. Come on. Okay, that's much better. Nice and warm inside. It is so cold that I have decided to spend Thanksgiving in warmer climates. So I am heading out on a ship and going to the Caribbean. Ports like St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. Martin, San Juan, and it is going to be a great time. I have been on cruises for the holidays before and it's always a lot of fun. Now this time I am going solo. And I'm going to actually be taking 2 cruises and doing what they call a back-to-back. So I'm going to get on the ship, go through one itinerary for a week, and then stay on the same ship and go through that itinerary as well. So I'll be on the ship for 2 weeks and I'm really, really looking forward to it. Now I've solo traveled on cruises before and it is a lot of fun. They often have events and different get-togethers for solo members. This time I'm going on a Carnival ship, and they do have some meetings scheduled on the schedule for the day for solos to meet up. Now other cruise lines, they have maybe some more choices of events for solos. I know that Virgin Cruise Lines, Virgin Voyages, they have something for solos just about every day. And they also take care of solos as far as dinner reservations at the different restaurants. So it can vary from cruise ship to cruise ship, cruise line to cruise line, I should say. But there's usually something for solos to do to have them get together. Now, sometimes I go to those events and meet the other solo folks and do things with the other solo folks on the ship and off the ship. I have gone on cruises where I've met other solo people and we've decided to go on excursions together. Or maybe on the ship, we'll go to shows together or have dinner together if you don't want to eat alone. That's a really good option. It's always fun. I never feel as though I'm alone unless I want to be when I solo travel on a cruise ship. Now this time, I won't know a soul. Sometimes I know some people who are going, but almost every trip, every cruise trip has a Facebook page. Somebody on that cruise is gonna set up a Facebook page. Sometimes you'll see multiple Facebook pages, but someone will always start one, and it's a good way to kind of meet people before you get on the ship. And I have done that as well, and it's really kind of fun when you've already established a relationship with folks on the cruise before you even get on to the ship. And sometimes those groups are a good source of information if you have newer cruisers and older cruisers. Some of the older cruisers can answer some questions for you. And maybe you want to go on an excursion and you don't really want to go alone, you can already start asking people in those Facebook groups and set something up. It really is a good time, and those Facebook groups really are a good way to get started, and especially if you're going solo and you're going solo for the first time and maybe you feel a little uneasy. You can make some friends so you see some familiar faces once you get on the ship. Now this trip, I'm not sure I'm even going to get off of the ship. And I have been learning that a lot of people choose that. I stay on the ship, I read my book, I enjoy the quietness while everybody else is in port. And one of my favorite things to do is to go to the spa. Now on most cruise lines, if you go to the spa during a port day, a day that the ship is in port and most people get off, if you go on a port day, you will get discounted services. And I have found that to be true on just about every cruise that I have gone on. And I like the thermal suite. For me, I don't so much get massages or facials, and that kind of thing is available, but I like the thermal suite when a ship has one. A steam room, a therapy pool if they have it. Was on one ship that had the warmer therapy pool and a cold plunge. I got as far as my knees on that cold plunge. It's supposed to be healthy, but I'll work up to sitting in there for the 4 minutes or whatever you're supposed to do because it's cold. But they also have, if you've seen the warm ceramic benches that you can lay on, and sometimes it's hard to get one of those if you're at sea because everybody is on the ship and a lot more people are in the spa, and you can't really get one of those because they feel so good. But I like going to the steam room, which is really nice if you've over imbibed the night before, so you can go in there and sweat it out and get ready to do it all again the next night. But that's one of my favorite things to do. So since I'm going to ports this time that I have been to multiple times, I will most likely stay on the ship for most port days, and I will go to the spa and just relax and enjoy it. Lay on one of those ceramic benches and read my book, enjoy the steam room, enjoy the pool. And then when folks start coming back on the ship, then I'll leave the spa and get ready for some nighttime activities. But that's really a lot of fun. And yes, in case anyone has been wondering, people stay on the ship on port days all the time. And there are sometimes activities going on for those who do stay on the ship, but it's always much quieter, and I find it to be nicer. And one of the ports that I may go into is St. Martin. St. Martin is a lovely island. If you've not been there, half is French and half is Dutch. And that's half of the island is French, half of the island is Dutch. It's very unique. It's a lovely island. There is so much good food on the Dutch side and the French side. Of course, it's an island, so there's really, really delicious seafood, nice and fresh. The people are lovely. It has become a popular port over the past few years that I've been going. So sometimes it can be a little crowded in the downtown areas, but St. Martin is really enjoyable. And you may have seen where you can go to the beach in St. Martin and see the planes come in very low overhead. I mean, you can wave to the pilot, and you may have seen some people do some crazy things like holding on to the fence behind the airplanes when they're about to take off because there's that blast. There are plenty of signs everywhere that tell you don't do that, you could die. So of course that means there are people who do it, and I hope they don't die, but I've seen people get blown across the road onto the beach. That's some powerful jet blast there. So if you go to St. Martin to watch the planes, don't do that. It is dangerous and you could die. I also like going into San Juan. I love Old San Juan. If you've not been there, it's a walled part of the city. There are a couple of forts on both ends. And Old San Juan is full of history. It's full of restaurants, full of shops. There's a hotel there with a big plaque. Apparently, that's where the pina colada was invented. So you got to go in there and try one in the place of its birth. Maybe try two. They're really good. But walking around San Juan is lovely with cobblestone streets. You can find tours, walking tours, cooking tours. I did a cooking tour there one day when I was in on a ship and made mofongo and we had some tequila, so we made margaritas, and that was at 10 o'clock in the morning, but it was really enjoyable. Those were some good margaritas. But when you go into any port, you can find excursions through the ship. And most people know that. You can look through the excursions that the ship has to offer, or you can book your own excursion through a third party. Now, sometimes I use an app for Viator, and I will use that to find tours in whatever city or on whatever island where I'm going to be and book a tour. Now, it's important to know this, really important to understand that if you book an excursion while you're on a cruise and you book it through a third party, if something happens and you are late getting back to the ship to sail away from that island, the ship will not wait for you. They will not wait for you. Now, if you book an excursion through the ship, through the cruise line, and something happens and you're going to get back to port late, the ship will wait for you. They will wait for you and they won't leave until you get there. So that's really important to note when you're looking at cruises from third parties. I tend to book through third parties, but if it's an excursion that perhaps is far away. I was in Scotland. There was a third party tour that was an hour away from the ship. That was too far for me to take the chance, so I booked it through the ship. And why people like to book sometimes through a third party is, one, you may find tours that the ship doesn't offer, but two, oftentimes when you book through a third party, it's cheaper than what you will pay for an excursion through the cruise line or through the ship. Now, it depends on what you're comfortable with doing. If I'm going to pay for a tour that costs a little more, but I'm booking it through the ship because I have to go far to wherever the destination is for the tour, I will pay that extra. But that's just me. I don't like taking chances. I don't want to be one of those pier runners you see running after the ship after it's taken off from port, because I've never had it happen. I have come close once when I was in Portugal, and I'll never do that again. But it's not a good feeling, and I don't ever want that to happen to me. So if you decide to book outside of the cruise line, just remember that, and remember that if you miss that ship, you're gonna miss the ship. It won't wait for you. But so I may do that. A lot of the ports that we're going to, since I'm familiar, I may get a rental car, say in St. Martin, because I've been there so many times. I can find my way around and enjoy the island on my own that way. But we shall see what I will do. Oftentimes I wait until I'm on the ship, really, to decide if I want to do any excursions and look and see what isn't sold out. If there's something I really, really want to do, I will definitely book it before the cruise sails, because things do sell out, and then you won't have a choice at all. So pretty much that's my planning for a solo cruise. I'm going to pack my things and make sure I have my book and things to wear around the ship. Yoga pants, don't really need to dress up. I'm trying to learn how not to overpack. But going on a solo cruise is just like going on any other cruise. You're just by yourself, but not really if you don't want to be. It's a good time to make friends and talk to some people if you want to. You may find some friends that you will have for the rest of your life. I made friends with a really nice lady from London on one of my last cruises where I was sailing solo, and now she and I are going to cruise together for Christmas, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So you can make friends even if you're going solo. People will talk to you. You just put yourself in those positions where people can talk to you. They're not going to find you if you're sitting in your cabin, but get out, enjoy the ship. Don't worry about being solo. I can guarantee you there are other solo people on the ship, and you will make friends if you want to. You will have a great time. And if you've never cruised solo before and it's your first time, I bet you're going to enjoy it so much that you will cruise solo again and again and again. So happy cruising, happy solo traveling. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you're new to my channel. Thanks. I'll see you next time.